Last season we missed out on European football by a single point. If we missed out again this season, I was about to quit this save. Our big issue was the defence, as we conceded too many goals. So we had to fix that with our £53 million budget, and we set out to sign Liam Stevens, a ginormous Belgian centre-back. We then plugged a hole at right-back by picking up Nathan Patterson from Leicester for £40 million paid in instalments. But obviously after this, we had run out of budget, so we had to move on some dead wood to raise some funds. We sold Latura Rodriguez, Sharandi Sambo, Clement Penin and Lino Sousa for a combined £53.5 million. But the best deal was selling striker Damir Vukalic for £22.5 million, who hadn't played a single game for us.
The best trade deal ever made.
This allowed us to invest in some youngsters with some big potential. So we brought in Uruguayan Herbert Rodriguez, German left-back Philip Dolling, American striker Emerson Outlands, and the crowning jewel, Iranian wonderkid Sefa Gohardani. Armed with our brand new additions, we were ready to get set in the Premier League. Our target this season was to finish in the top 7 and just secure European football. However, the season started off with an injury to our star striker Lee McShane. But in reality, we didn't miss him, winning our season opener 5-0 against Everton and then thrashing Leicester 5-1 in the next game, before travelling to Fulham and losing 2-0. We have a history of being consistently inconsistent, and this was worrying because it might be starting again this season. But our next game was at home to local rivals Peterborough United, who achieved a very unlikely promotion last season, so the game was sure to be an absolute mauling. Through to Riviero, who, Riviero's been so frustrating at the start of this season. He's got one goal right, but he could have had so many more real life. But I remember seeing in Football Manager, the Riviero's offside, by the way. That's when I did manage Crystal Palace a long time ago in a save. Oh, for goodness sake. Vieco finds a way through, though, and just puts it over the bar. Look at the match stats. This is frustrating. They're going to win it, aren't they? It's the thing. Look at the match. I can't take my eyes off these match stats. Thanks for the prime, El Tonk. Love the 18 months. So despite our absolute domination of the match, we lost to Posh's only shot on target. This is the sort of result we might be looking back on at the end of the season as a key reason to why we haven't qualified for European football again. Luckily for us, we got back to winning ways with an unlikely 2-0 win against Old Trafford, a demolition against Burnley, before Lee McShane scored a brace against his old club on his return to the side, only for Haaland to have the last laugh, scoring an equaliser in the dying moments of the game to deny us all 3 points. But it spurred us on to a 4-game winning streak before it came to an abrupt halt in November as we lost to Chelsea and Arsenal, both games in which we were the stronger team and should have won. But following a win against Crystal Palace 15 games into the season, we were sitting nicely in 3rd place, right where we wanted to be for European football. Newcastle were miles ahead, but we played against them soon. December and January were stacked full of fixtures, including a Carabao Cup quarter-final against Arsenal. If we can keep morale, motivation and form going, by the end of these packed months, we could be in an insane position to finish in the top 7 come the end of the season. Things didn't start off great, as we were humbled 5-2 at home against Liverpool, the reigning league champions. But Lee McShane took that loss personally. Our star striker went on to score 11 goals in our 7 games in December, and despite suffering a 4-2 loss away to Leeds United, we won all other games, including the Carabao Cup quarter-final, setting up a semi-final in January against Wolves. So heading into 2031, I was pretty happy with the team. But there were some fringe and squad players who were getting quite unsettled about not playing enough games, and they wanted to leave the club. So rather than let them ruin the team's morale, I thought let's just sell them. We made a small profit on centre-back Onion Merrick, moving him on for £33.5 million to Olympiacos, and with just 18 months left on his contract and him being unwilling to sign a new one, I reluctantly let Jose Griguera move to Atletico Madrid for £22.5 million, before saying goodbye to ageing Mexican right-back Kevin Alvarez for £7.5 million. But we replaced Merrick with Carlos Munoz for £12 million from Real Madrid, Griguera with wonderkid Ahmed Jabbar for £5 million from Bodo Glimt, before adding depth to the goalkeeping position with Jose Vargas and depth in the centre mid in Scott Gretorix for £27 million. So we weren't rocking the boat too much. We got rid of some unhappy players, brought in some new ones who were slightly better, and we kept our starters the same. And all this led to a fantastic January. We went undefeated in our 8 games across the month, picking up 10 points from a possible 15 in the league, our most important being a big 2-1 win over Spurs, with wonder-kid Leonardo Riviero scoring a last-minute winner. However, it should have been 12 points, as we fumbled a 2-0 lead against 10-man Southampton as they scored in the 82nd and 91st minute to draw the game. The other 3 games were cup games, and we won in the FA Cup third round, which spurred us on to the quarter-finals of the competition, where we eventually lost to Everton on penalties. But more importantly, we beat Wolves 5-2 on aggregate to secure our first ever major cup final, where we'd be facing a Newcastle side who had a poor run of form in December and January and were losing their grip at the top of the table. Now, we played great in December and January, but Liverpool and Man City played even better, and they were really chasing Newcastle down for a title fight. For us, we were still in those European places, and I was very happy with that. The Twitch chat were telling me to go for the title, but I never felt that we were going to be in a fight or battle for it. But after we won all 3 of our league games in February, Newcastle, Liverpool and Man City all dropped points, meaning that after a 3-1 win over Arsenal, we were just 3 points behind Newcastle, with our next league game being against them. But before that, we had the League Cup final. Our first major cup final. It's our first cup final since the Papa John's Trophy. But here we go. For the biggest prize in world football. Corner, Newcastle, 6 minutes in. Szoboszlai in the middle. Oh no! It was like the most blatant shove I have ever seen in my life. Oh, he almost saved it. Corner for us though. Steve's at the far post. Doesn't go down. Cleared by Zabarani. William Sitol just over the bar. Forward to Riviera, who cuts inside, creating space for Sitol to put a ball to Lee McShane. Come on! Gets the goal to bring us level here just before half-time in the Carabao Cup final. Really even game. Sitol drops it back to Peroni. Gets it back. Fires a ball through to Riviero! No, that was not a great shot. Would Bellio have scored that? I don't know. Maybe. Let's not speculate too much. He's on the bench. We could bring him on later on. Patino wins the ball. Gives it away to Šeško. And both of Newcastle's goals today have come from our own mistakes. They've come from us being just idiots. Lamptey brings the ball forward. Forward to Chukwueze. If that's another... I thought he was going to bring him down for a penalty there. Still might. Oh, how's that Šeško's goal? How's that Šeško's goal? No! No! We'll go attacking as well. Why not? If we lose this game, by the way, this will be the first game we've lost since the winter update. Gretorix, can he just find a through ball? He can, into Oscar, who's... Why have you not squared that, you absolute utter... Selfish behaviour from Oscar. This time less selfish as Gretorix. Off the line! Everything that could go wrong is going wrong. Sitol finds McShane. Finds the back of the net. Is he offside? He might have been offside. He wasn't offside! Oh my word, there's still a chance. It might be a little bit late for this. It was too late for it. The really annoying part about that was that we gifted them 2 goals. Do I keep the same team as last game? Maybe. Patino comes off at Oscar though, because he let himself down that last game. Corner ball from Patterson, who is actually very good at set pieces. Part of the reason why he's still in the team, to be fair. Puts this one on the noggin of Stevens, off the crossbar, Lee McShane! This temporarily puts us on top of the Premier League table. Look at that! Temporarily on top of the Premier League table. Don't you dare. I hate this man so much! Ugh. Never hated a man so much in my life that I've never met. Well, in this situation, we actually dropped into 3rd place because Liverpool are winning, will go ahead of us, and they've actually got a game in hand on us still as well, so we won't get too excited. It's nice to be temporarily top of the Premier League table for a few minutes, but ultimately Liverpool will come past us anyway. We draw 1-1 to the league leaders. Upset with that, really, in the grand scheme of things. Particularly when Man City are going to fly past us. Liverpool have flown past us already with a game in hand like. It was nice to pretend that we were in a title fight for a game. We're not. Man City win 4-1. Haaland with a hat-trick. They go ahead of us by points. I imagine when they win their games in hand, they'll be 4 points ahead of us, won't they? So it was nice to pretend for a moment. Newcastle really frustrated us, and I really felt on a different day we would have won both of those games, particularly the cup final, which we really fumbled with some big defensive errors. But despite being on top of the Premier League table for 13 minutes when we took the lead against Newcastle, I still didn't think we were ever going to be in a title fight. And that really proved itself when we lost the next game 3-0 to Liverpool away from home. And our pain was only compounded more when we had a win snatched away from us against Chelsea in the 94th minute. That saw us drop to 4th place with 6 games to go and 8 points off the top of the table. Wolves have lost 4 of their last 5, so if this isn't a win, I'll be very concerned. Gohard, Arnie and Jabbar are kind of the future, aren't they? Although Peroni's only like 27, it's like he's old, which I have to keep telling myself now that I'm 26 next week, so I have to keep telling myself that 27's not old. Patino, though, scores a wonderful free kick. We need to win these games. We need to get ourselves European football secured. And the more wins we get right now, the better. Gives the ball to Patterson. He finds the ball over the top to Lee McShane. This time, Lee McShane says, "Thank you very much. I'll take this one myself and score." 33rd of the season. Aceves wins the ball, gives it into Kelly. Kelly to Diagne, forward to Aceves. And he plays one over the top to the advancing Riviero in behind the defence, and he can't score. Now, earlier on in the season, we played Peterborough, and I had like 30 shots to Peterborough's 1 shot, and they beat us 1-0. I'm sorry, everyone. I know it's a flaw of mine. We've scored a goal. It might be an own goal, to be fair. I think MacArthur's, it counts as the MacArthur own goal, but at least we've actually scored. So there's my predictions on it. Holy moly. Aceves, what a way to get your first goal of the season. Also, we are still 4th place in the table, 3 games to go. It's looking good for us for top 4 football. And now we can build down the left-hand side of the pitch as Aceves finds a gap to find Riviero. That's a great ball. And Lee McShane lucky just to get on the end of that one. He touches it in the back of the net. 18-yard channel, puts the ball in towards Patterson. And Gohard Arnie gets his first goal for the club. Okay, lovely win for us there. Now, Newcastle and Man City have obviously got games in hand to play, and they should go ahead of us in the table, right? Oh, Newcastle have played a game. They go ahead of us in the table. Man City. Oh, lost to Newcastle. So that was that game going on later on that day. They also play Southampton on the 14th midweek. So I think after we play our next game, that's when Newcastle and Man City will play their game in hand. But I still, even at this stage, we're not in for a title fight. We're up there. We've been lucky. Competitive league structure, I don't know. Are we finally going to have a penalty? This might be the first penalty we've had this season in the... Wow. And look at this. Alanis's run the length of the pitch here. I know it's Bolcombe. Oh, it's not Alanis run the length of the pitch. Oh, and Chuck's already put another goalkeeper on the penalty list as well. Amazing. So I won't even change it. Actually, I do change it because more people to take penalties, isn't there? But there we go. Carlos Alanis with his first goal of the season. The first chance he's had actually at taking a penalty this season. Holy shit, hang on a second, chat. We have temporarily gone top of the table. Who spotted this? I didn't spot this. I spent this entire... Well, we're not in a title fight. We're just not. I know we're top of the table right now, but we're not in a title fight. We're just not. Man City and Newcastle are going to win their games in hand, and they'll go top of the table. And Liverpool will win anyway as well. So I just can't believe how close we are to it. Okay, and look, we're not, because Liverpool have won their game later on against Southampton. They've won it 2-0, and so it's behind my head, but they go top of the table then. Man City take on Southampton. Although they can't overtake us, can they, Man City? So it's only Newcastle we're really fussed about. Come on, Crystal Palace, who are on a run, by the way, Crystal Palace. Do us a favour. Oh, they almost did. Southampton beat Man City, so we are guaranteed to come in the top 3. Right, final game of the season. Liverpool at home to Fulham, Newcastle at home to Leeds, we're at home to Man United. We've got the toughest game. There is a chance that we could lift the Premier League title at the end of this game. Liverpool still drawing. Newcastle are losing, but Liverpool have just scored a goal in their game. That's frustrating. Still plenty of time in this game to go, though. But Newcastle are losing, Liverpool are winning. Both 1-0 in those games. As Riviero gives the ball to Diagne. To Lee McShane, who... Holy moly, that's such a good goal. Lee McShane, he just hits that with every bit of power that he's possibly got there. The only way we go ahead of Liverpool is if they lose. If they draw, they win the title. they have to lose. Come on, Fulham! Leeds are 2-0 up against Newcastle. Newcastle 2-0 down. I've just realised, if we don't win the title now, because Liverpool win this game, the reason we haven't won the title is because of that one stupid game against Peterborough. We said right at the start, didn't we, of the season, when that happened, that 3 points is going to matter. But when we said matter, we thought that's going to matter when it comes to getting 7th place or not. Not the bloody title. Fulham, please do something. Fulham have scored! Fulham have scored! It's 1-1 in that game. Fulham, please. I'll do anything, Fulham. Just get another goal, Fulham. We have done enough here. Oh. But I don't think Fulham did enough. No. We come second. Despite missing out on our first Premier League title by a single point on the final day of the season, I wasn't sad. Coming into the season, all I wanted is for us to secure European football, and that's exactly what we did. The bonus is, it's also going to be in the Champions League, which I'm super excited for. But the more I thought about it, the more I started to identify areas where we lost the title. Perhaps it was conceding to Chelsea in the 94th minute to drop 2 points. Perhaps it was fumbling a 2-0 lead against 10-man Southampton. Perhaps it was when Haaland scored a 90th minute equaliser early in the season. Or perhaps it was the most bullshit game I've ever bloody played against Peterborough. I actually hate this game and I don't understand why I keep playing it over and over again because it's just so ridiculous.